Alright guys, here it is, the part I have been talking about for quite some time now. This is all bonus stuff. The thing I've been wanting to show you guys for quite a while now. I will finally have the chance to show you. A couple things beforehand. First off, for the next part after this one, I'm going to it's just going to be a video. I'm not going to be talking in it at all. It's just going to be a video that shows you what enemies you fight to get certain items. Like I said at the beginning of this walkthrough, I wanted you guys to be able to have every item in the game. And there are going to be some items that you can get at any time but probably haven't gotten, either because you needed to morph someone when your morph wasn't very good, or you didn't think of stealing someone, or there could be a spot that you just didn't come across this enemy. And so anyway, there's going to be some items that I didn't have going through the game, so I'm going to assume that some of you probably don't either. So I'm just going to put in the description in order what items I'm going to be getting, and if you're missing any of those items, then that video will be for you. You guys can check out and see where and how I got those specific items. Now in this part, I'm going to be showing you a number of things. One thing in particular, the thing I've been talking about. And but before we get into that, here we are. We just finished our raid in Midgar. We just defeated Hojo. So the second disc is about to end. But before that happens, Cloud is basically going to tell you, or all of the party members, to leave the ship and find a reason for you to fight, because you are about to take on Sephiroth, head down into the crater, and do all that fun stuff. So he wants you to find a reason to fight, so he makes everyone leave. Now here, all is left is Cloud and Tifa. So as if you've been following along throughout the whole walkthrough, you know many times I would be saying something like, this answer depends on who you want to go out on a date with. Well, there is one more thing that it has to do with. So whenever you say something positive to someone, that is points towards them. Now with Tifa, this scene right here changes slightly if you have a high positive rating with Tifa. So if you are a fan of Tifa and throughout this entire game you've been nothing but nice to her and said, you know, all the positive things you can, then not only would you have gone out on a date with her at Gold Saucer, but you would also have a slightly different scene than this one. Now this is the one if Tifa's positive rating isn't extremely high. Now there isn't a whole lot of difference. There's slight difference in the dialogue. The main difference is at the very end of this cutscene. Now if you want to learn more about it, there is a YouTube video out there that shows both scenes, and I believe they kind of explain the slight differences in context. But basically this was translated pretty poorly. At the end of this cutscene, when the characters start to come back onto the Highwind, there's going to be a part where Tifa says, "So you were listening?" And then she's going to turn around and kind of tap her toes on the ground. Well, if you have a very high positive rating for Tifa, instead of her saying you guys were listening, she's going to say you guys were watching, or were you guys watching? And then she's going to fall to the ground in complete embarrassment and shame, basically. And so you can kind of guess what was going on here. It's just the two of them together. If you have a high positive rating for Tifa, then basically you guys got it on overnight. And I don't know what you guys were doing before or in this video here. You may have been doing the same thing, except instead of them just listening, they were watching in the positive video or cutscene of this. Anyway, it's just it's something they added. It probably would have been more realistic or made more sense if it hadn't been translated so bad, but that's kind of the gist of it. So then after this part here, we're going to change discs, and then we are going to head back to the sunken Galinka. Alright, so we back out of the... They want you to go into the crater as soon as this restarts. Just head back into your high wind, fly over here to Junon, get in the submarine, and we're going to go to the sunken Galinka, and this is where the fun starts. Now, if you do not know about this, or you haven't spent much time here, every single enemy in the sunken Galinka can be morphed, and it will be morphed into a source. So, the unknowns will turn into sources, and all of these guys will turn into sources as well. So, first thing you want to do, make sure that you have one of an item as your very first slot in your items. So what I did is I used up all of my potions, all of my high potions, and I bought one of each, so I only had one, and then I had one of all of the greens at the Chocobo farm. And so what you want to do is take one of something, so I did potions, make it the very first thing on your item list. Now, like I said before, these guys in this room, these are the only people you'll fight, and they're relatively easy. These first guys here on the front, you can change them into speed sources. And then these dudes in the back, you can change them into luck sources. So, what we are going to do is, if you are familiar, first off, you need to be familiar with the W item duplication trick. I showed you how to do it in the last part. It's pretty well known, easy to do. And what we are going to do is duplicate sources. Now this should not be possible because you cannot use sources in battle, and you can only duplicate items that you can use in battle. But there is a way around this. So like I said before, right now I have high potions as my very first item, and I only have one of them. Now you also want to be sure, since we're going to be getting luck sources and speed sources, you need to use all of your luck and speed sources right now before starting this. So here I am, I'm using up all of my luck and speed sources. You can give them to whoever, it doesn't matter. Make sure that you have an item that you can use in battle, and you only have one of them as the very first thing in your list. You can do that by arranging them and go to customize, and you can put anything in any order that you want. And now we're going to run around till we get into another battle, and here we are. So now the speed source guys aren't here, but these guys will turn into luck sources, which will be just fine. So I tried this at first. You have to know when you're going to morph someone, so that time it didn't work. So here I go. What you want to do, I'm going to have Yuffie cast morph, but before she actually morphs the enemy, the person that has W item, you switch to them. Use that first item. So you see I used my high potion. She casts morphs them into a luck source. That luck source now takes the spot of the first slot where the high potion was. Then you go to the item right below. In this case it's my X potion. You hit circle once, and then the arrow goes to what character you want to give it to. You cancel. Select, cancel, back and forth, just like the regular W item trick, except instead of morphing or duplicating high potions, I'm duplicating now luck sources. And as you see, it's going all the way up, and we're just going to keep doing this till we get to 99. And then we'll finish the battle. And this is something I didn't show you guys, I haven't showed you, but if you go to order, or I mean status, select a character, you'll notice here, those are their stats. So you have strength, dexterity, vitality, magic, spirit, luck. There is a source that will raise those statistics. So obviously the luck source will replace, or will do the luck stat. So I'm going to give Cloud all 99 luck sources. And as you can see, my luck just shot up. I was at like 32. Now I'm at 131 for luck. And those stats, the max number it will go up to is 255. So we're going to try and we want to get every stat up to 255. And now here I am doing the exact same thing, but this time with speed sources. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to get to 99. Check out my status for Cloud. It is the dexterity one that will do the speed. So you notice right there, Cloud had 56 dexterity. We're going to give him all of these speed sources. Now it's all the way up to 155. This makes things go a lot faster. This takes hours and hours if you want to morph people, because you can only do it one at a time. This way, you're using one battle to get 99 of them. The only problem with this duplication glitch is that you have to have more than one enemy in battle, because you have to have time to duplicate them. So unfortunately, the people that you can morph into sources that are by themselves, you can't really do this, but this will save you tons of time with the other ones. You can do this for power sources, guard sources, luck, and speed sources. So the only ones you can't really do it for are mind sources and magic sources, at least to my knowledge. So here I am right next to Medeal in the dirt area. You're going to look for these characters here, and these guys will give you guard sources if you morph them. And because they're in a group, we can do this glitch. Same thing applies. This time I was using the greens. I bought one green out of each so I could continue this process. Be sure to use up all of your guard sources before doing this. This first time I kind of messed up because I forgot to use up all my guard sources. So you want to be sure to use all of your sources before doing this. So there, the green, or the guard source took the place of the green. You select the item right below it, and then cancel and go back and forth. And now we're going to get 99 guard sources. So there, so now we have you have the locations on where to get speed sources, luck sources, and guard sources. And the vitality is what the guard source raises. So once again, I'm going to give all of these to Cloud. And now my vitality is 178. So you can see this is a really quick way to level up these stats. The easiest way to do this, so you don't have to keep going back and forth. Like I said, buy one high potion, one potion, go to the Chocobo farm, and buy one of each green. So you can do this multiple times without having to stop and go back. Here's where you get the power sources. You're going to go to Nibelheim, or to Mount Nibel. As you saw, I just took the Chocobo, skipped going through Mount Nibel, or through Nibelheim, and then just came straight to Mount Nibel. You have to go quite a ways to find these enemies, but it is obviously well worth it. So once we get into this area here, we are going to search for guys with ball and chains, carrying ball and chain, swinging them around. Those are the guys we want to look for. Once again, be sure you use up all of your power sources first. Have the person with W item, have someone, or I used Yuffie and her ultimate weapon Conformer for morph, because she can do an extreme amount of damage for morph. So you select that one item before she casts morph. Hope you guys are getting the gist of how this is working. So we get 99 power sources. You can see Cloud's strength 96. Give him all these power sources. So you can fight 2 of these guys at a time, but you're not going to always get them. So think of it as you're going to have to fight 99 times to get 99 power sources. That's a lot of battles. We can get everyone completely maxed out, 255 strength, with half that many battles. So it's a pretty awesome trick. Well worth it. So that's what I wanted to show you guys. That's what I've been most excited about. It's a great way to level up your characters. Because if you want a perfect game, you're going to want them with perfect stats as well. And it'll help greatly in any battles, especially with Ruby and Emerald Weapon, making your guys as strong, as fast as possible. So next up, we're going to deal with Ultima Weapon. Now, this is why I didn't want you guys to hurt him before getting to this point. So what you're going to do is you're going to have to fly around and find him. And then when you do, you're going to want to ram him a few times till eventually he gets to a place and stops. When he stops, you run into him one more time, and then a fight will start. Now here, I'm still not trying to hurt him. All I want to do is steal from him. You can essentially get unlimited items from him as long as you don't hurt him. So here I'm going to get another circlet. And then after that, we just run away. I did a little bit of damage to him, then he flew off. So now we're going to go look for him again. And basically the conclusion I've come to, if you notice, he was in the air when I fought him there. Whenever he's in the air, he seemed to always give me a circlet. Now here I'm fighting him at the crater, and notice how he is on the ground. So now when I steal from him this time he's going to give me the reflect ring. So from what I've gathered is every time he is in the air, he gives me a circlet. When he's on the ground, he gives me a reflect ring. So I did this quite a few times, and then I started to slowly do damage to him. So here he is again on the ground, and I'm going to get the reflect ring once again from him. In this battle in particular, I messed him up pretty good. I did Omni Slash to him. Now, once he lands, or once you see him right here near Cosmo Canyon, just flying, or just hovering, not moving, this is the last place you're going to fight him. He will die here. So, what I do right now is I put on all of my double and triple weapons and armor, because now that he's actually going to die, you're going to get something out of it. You're going to get experience, and more importantly, you're going to get a lot of AP, 3,500. So I put on a weapon for Yuffie that was a double. There was an armlet that I had that's a double. And then I'm actually going to take Vincent out here, and I'm going to get Sid, so I can use his triple weapon, the Scimitar. Put the rune armlet on, which is a double. And now we're just going to put on the reflect ring, actually, for these guys. I know I always have ribbons on, but there is a reason why I'm having everyone equipped with the reflect ring. You'll see here in a second. So basically, you just want to put on anything that you really want to level up. Things that will require a lot of AP. Make sure that you have one person though each person with an enemy skill. This fight, however, he does not have an item, so if you do try and steal from him, well, just don't bother, because there won't be anything. Now in this fight, you can treat it any way that you... well, treat it like any other boss fight. Just attack him as best as you can. I had Doom of the Living, which pretty much finished him off. This fight also depends on how much you've hurt him. If he is seriously injured, then this fight won't last long. He will always cast Shadow Flare before he dies, which does around 8,000 damage. This is why you want the Reflect Ring on. It is a very nice enemy skill, so we want to learn it. So when he casts it, if you have the Reflect on, not only will you learn it, but it will reflect it back to him, so he takes all the damage instead of you, and then the fight will be over. You see I leveled up a couple things there. So be sure you have the Reflect Ring on, everyone. Have an enemy skill on anyone, on everyone. And then you see him fall to his death. There's supposed to be like a loud explosion, but it's pretty non-dramatic. Big giant hole appears, or a crater kind of thing. Anyway, now that that is done, you have a path to the ancient forest. So if you never did any of the Chocobo stuff, you now have a pathway to the ancient forest. You just walk up through that pit where he died. So now that that's done, we have Cloud's ultimate weapon, and we're going to head to Gold Saucer. We're going to take care of a couple things here. First place we're going to go to is the Chocobo Square. There's lots of items you can get, mainly in the S class, but you can get some of them in the A class as well. So here you're going to see me This is one of my races. I just won the counter, which is just counterattack materia. That was in an A-class division. And then this is in the S-class. Here I won the sneak attack materia. This is, well, this can possibly be the hardest thing to get in this whole game. The reason why is because it is a hit or miss thing on whether you can get it. It just depends on whether it shows up and then whether you're lucky enough to win that prize. I know of people who have spent literal days trying to get that item and have not been able to get it. I was fortunate enough to get it the very first time it popped up. So I ended up getting 3 of them. And in this, I just showed you 2 of the things that I won. But in the S class, you can win Mega Elixir, Precious Watch, which is an accessory, or it's an armor. The counterattack, which you see me win, the sneak attack. You can also win enemy away materia, a Choco bracelet, magic counter, cat's bell, sprint shoes, and also once you've won enough races in the S class, you will win, I think, 4 or 5 accessories, armlets. So yeah, it's definitely worth racing in the S class division for a while. Now here I am getting ready for the battle arena again. I told you I already got W Summon and Omni Slash, but there's one more thing we need to get. So I use Cloud, I use the Ultima Weapon and the Escort Guard for my armor, and of course the ribbon for my accessory. Usually I don't show all of this, but I wanted you guys to see exactly what I was using against these guys. I had an enemy skill, put on lots of HP plus, just to make sure that I maxed out completely on health. I used time, very important, restore, and then I added Quadra Magic and Ultima together. I put Knights of the Round on, even though I never used it. The main important things for this is having the Escort Guard, having the ribbon, having time, and enemy skill and cure. That's kind of the main thing you want to be sure that you have. And now we're going to head to the battle square. So like I said, I already got W Summon and Omni Slash. You have to have those 2 items before you can get this unlocked. But the lady will say that you're really strong and she'll offer you the chance to fight in a special battle. This one I just call the boss battle because everyone that you fight here is either the last enemy that you would fight in a regular battle or someone who's fairly strong. So first thing I do is I cast haste. Now you remember I just got tons of speed sources I put on Cloud, and if you look at my time go up, it is extremely fast. That's why haste is so important, because with that, along with you being much faster in the speed department. So here, my very first thing is I lose half my speed. Well, if you notice, you can't even tell. It's still so fast. So I got poison as my next one. Well, with the ribbon, that will do nothing. This is one of those unknowns, creepy touch he counters with. does nothing. Bolt 2 does nothing because of the escort guard. Also, you'll notice I'm getting a lot of critical hits. That is because my luck is extremely high, along with the fact that they hardly ever hit me in this entire thing. So Viper Breath, that does 0 because of the escort guard. You want to make sure you have 9,999 HP, so if you were to lose half your health like I did, you still have plenty. So here I lost my command, which means I don't have 2 times cut anymore. But my time is so fast, it's like I'm getting a limit break every time with how fast my time is going. Here I got mini cast, but that will do nothing to me thanks to the ribbon. I got mini again, which will of course do nothing. And one more time, got mini. And as the boss of the bosses, you will fight Proud Claude. I could have just ended this and cast Knights of the Round, but because I was so fast, I thought this fight will be over in no time just by doing my basic attacks. And I was right. If you got a lot of luck sources that you put on Cloud, you'll notice also that you'll get a lot of critical hits. As you see here, I'm 3-4 times faster than he is. And see, if you were to lose your summons or something like that, magic, this is a way where you can just use your regular attack and beat him no problem. Now he's on his knees, you know he's close to being dead. And there it is, I finished it. It's not so much the battle points we're worried about, but the item you get for winning this. You'll get the final attack materia. If you do this 10 times, you'll also get another ribbon. So that will conclude this part, guys. I hope you liked it, and I will see you guys next time.